What up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the WiseTake NFL DFS First Look Core 4. Here we are. It is week 14 in the NFL, coming towards the end, man. It's been a fun ride. Hopefully continue to be a fun ride over here. I am CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. Give me a follow, say what's up, and I am from the WiseTake Nation, which you can find at wisetake.com, and you can follow on Twitter at wise_take for the latest and greatest updates, promotions, all that good ish. We are a premium DFS content provider, as well as a DFS community designed to help make you a better DFS player. We've been doing the Core Fours for NBA and NFL. We've gotten good responses. Real quick, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notifications bell. We've been doing our Wise streams for NBA live a lot of the days. We may do it for NFL this week, depending on when we do the NFL show. But either way, we have NFL stream coming up tonight, I believe, the NFL podcast with Patio Joe, Shry BZ, doing some first look talk. But yeah, hit the notifications bell. We have all kinds of free DFS content we do on the channel, and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any. And please like the video, guys. The likes go a long way for NBA. We're starting to pick up on the likes. Really appreciate it. And we're trying to get that trend going for NFL as well. Like doing the videos, like speaking to the YouTube nation and the WiseTake nation and everybody. So all I ask is for a little bit of support back. The likes go a long way, help us out, allow us to continue to do these things. So hook it up. With that said, let's get into our first look Core 4. It is currently Wednesday. We don't have a lot of the injury information, and I haven't done a ton of research, just kind of went over the slate a few times, and these are the guys that kind of stood out to me. Number one, Alvin Kamara, who is $7K on DraftKings, $7,600 on FanDuel. He was chalk last time out and did not do well. I think it was Thanksgiving. Did not do well. In fact, had he done well, instead of winning $2,000, I would have won $5,000. So shout out to Alvin Kamara. But this is an industry of short-term memory. So I'll be going to Kamara. Tough matchup against the San Francisco 49ers. But the one vulnerability they have had in general, at least in terms of their DVOA rankings, they've been really good against the pass. But they have been somewhat vulnerable against the run. With that said, I think Kamara will be heavily used in the pass game as well, because the cornerbacks and secondary is so good for the 49ers. So I think Kamara on both sides is the most likely from the Saints to get a touchdown, being that the defense that they're playing is going to be pretty good. The Saints are home. Should be a pretty interesting game. Should be a pretty good game. And I know it's a bad matchup. I'm hoping that lowers the ownership. That in combination with Kamara busting on Thanksgiving, hopefully that lowers the ownership and we get Kamara pretty low. Next up, Calvin Ridley. I expect this to be pretty damn popular going into the week. Calvin Ridley's got a history of doing dirties to the Panthers. The Panthers just fired their head coach, Ron Rivera. Julio Jones is expected to play. I like Julio as well, but what typically happens is they put Bradbury on Julio, and then Calvin Ridley just kind of does what he wants to do. I don't think Ridley's had a bad game against the Panthers. The price I don't love, 67 on DraftKings, 69 on FanDuel. I don't hate it. I don't love it. But, whether you hate it or love it, the underdog's on top, as what 50 Cent once said with Game. But with that said, Calvin Ridley, 6,700 on DraftKings, 6,900 on FanDuel. Should be pretty popular, but he's earned it. He's played really, really well against this team. And the Falcons, I believe, are at home. Next up, Dalvin Cook. I love McCaffrey as well. Dalvin Cook's questionable with a shoulder injury. Apparently, he couldn't finish that last game against Seattle, but he believes he's going to be ready to go. Maybe McCaffrey is where I lean by the end of the week, just because we know his role is so defined. But Dalvin Cook has been so good with his touches, and he's got Detroit, man. They've just been awful. Detroit's been terrible. Minnesota's home. Very hard. If Dalvin Cook does play, and maybe this Q tag lowers his ownership a bit, it's really hard not to love Dalvin Cook this week, regardless of the price. Cheaper on FanDuel at $8,700. I kind of like him a little better on FanDuel, but even at $9,500, I think I'm willing to pay that, at least as of now, against Detroit. Last player, we got Mike Evans. Mike Evans, $7,200 on DraftKings, $77 on FanDuel. He's officially cheaper than Godwin again on DraftKings, which is a go. It seems like every time Godwin creeps over Evans in ownership, Evans reminds everybody that he's the number one receiver. Evans has not played particularly well lately. His last 4 games have resulted in 12, 10, 9, and 9 fantasy points, but the targets have been there. 6 against Atlanta wasn't great, but 8 against New Orleans, 8 against Atlanta, 11 against Jacksonville, just having a problem with efficiency. But we know Evans is still among Jameis's favorite target. We know he's the go-to. We saw DeAndre Hopkins a couple weeks ago score 2 touchdowns against these guys. The Colts defense has been a lot better than people thought it was going to be. In general, I think their team, considering Andrew Luck retired, is better than people thought it was going to be. But I think Evans, maybe Godwin, but I think Evans bounces back this week, has a pretty big week, and I don't expect him to be too popular because of the pricing of everybody else around him. And that is going to do it, ladies and gentlemen, for the first look NFL Core 4. Again, guys, if you could like the video, it goes a long way. Really, really helps us out. As many likes as possible, and subscribe to the channel. If you're looking for more content, we do a lot of DFS content over at WiseTake.com. Patio Joe does our FanDuel breakdown, giving out his core for cash and tournaments. Paul Edie does the same thing for DraftKings. Cam does a cheat sheet. I do a GPP notes article where I go over my core for the day and I go over my player pool. It's really cool. We have a podcast we're doing on YouTube. We do the First Look podcast on YouTube anyway. It'll be on iTunes as well. That'll be, I think, Wednesday night or Thursday night with Patio Joe and Try Beasley. And then, of course, on Friday night or Saturday, we haven't announced when, me and Paulie do the Wise stream. That's after we've done all of our research. We kind of already have a game plan of how we're approaching. Our articles are pretty much written. We're just waiting to publish them until after we've discussed things and after everything comes out. But it's a good time. It's a good time. Go check us out, WiseTake.com. We have 1 week passes available. If you want to sample the NFL content, go check it out. For myself, the entire WiseTake Nation, as always, good luck.
Yes.